Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. Today we have a very special guest, Randall Wilson.
What's
here.
good, man?
You've probably seen him on Season 2 of LEGO Masters USA.
That's right.
And a good friend of mine. And this is really exciting because we've had a couple LEGO Masters here on the channel, but I don't think we've ever had any in person besides me and Steven. I think you're the first.
Yeah. Shout out to me being from Atlanta.
Exactly. Yes, and that's actually why you're here today, is because
right.
you stay in Atlanta because you're from here.
That's right.
Between Chicago and Atlanta.
Yeah. Just so happened to line up for me to come visit you. And it's always good to come to the shop.
Exactly, yeah. If you like LEGO, it's worth stopping by Atlanta Brick Co. just to walk around a little bit and check it out. So. Very cool. But yeah, so we're going to talk about some LEGO Masters stuff, our season, our experiences, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Season 3 because we've had news since planning all these interviews that has changed the game a little bit, but that's okay. We'll discuss our thoughts on that too as well.
Yep.
Alrighty, so let's dive into the first question here. So Randall, what was the best moment for you on LEGO Masters? Can you pinpoint something when there was like, this is awesome?
Wow. I think the best moment for me on LEGO Masters was, I think, getting to level 10 on the tower challenge, right? I know it was, of course, like walking on set. That was wonderful. Seeing Will.
Oh, yeah.
That was great. Like, oh, yeah, I'm finally here. But I think doing well in a challenge like that was like, finally.
Yeah.
Yes, that was great. I'm like, yes, this is wonderful.
The satisfaction.
I've had my moment in the sun. That's why I was like...
Yeah. That's my favorite. One of my favorite poses from the show is that you could see the relief on your face. It was amazing. Those challenges threw us all for a loop, man. That was,
Woo!
That is a great moment. And you can watch it on the show. You can see when Randall just throws his arms back when classic.
Oh, man. That was wonderful. But yes, that's my answer.
For sure. Good answer. And I think you also brought up some other points that other interviews have brought up too. It's like walking on set is crazy. Like we're not acting. You know, it's like when they say big reactions, no, we're just like, look at all the figures on the wall. So there's
all the pieces, like all of that.
Truly once in a lifetime moments on LEGO Masters. Pretty awesome.
Right.
All right, so next question. This is interesting because it's not necessarily our season, it's just LEGO Masters in general.
Okay.
But to you, Randall, I know you build mocks quite a bit. We've seen I've seen on his Instagram quite a few amazing creations. But what is the most interesting LEGO Masters challenge? And it doesn't have to be from our season. It could be from anything. Australia, Europe, international.
Man.
What's the one that you're like, that is mind-blowing? And obviously, our season had some pretty crazy challenges, but is there anything that really stood out to you?
I think about the Above and Below. That was in Australia.
Yep.
I did like the hero shot. Like, I kind of, speaking for me and our team, we had a centaur. I don't know if you remember.
That's a hard subject to build.
There were two things, and I'm glad we're here to talk about this. One was, I was like, man, I really want to do like Greek architecture, but I would be biting on Mark and Steven's style. I would be biting on how they build, and I don't want to do that.
Well, you got to embrace what you're given, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because I'm familiar with that. I went to school for that.
Yeah.
Like architecture, so I know what's up. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, like just seeing how everybody else did theirs, like having the watermelon blow up for y'all. That was wonderful. Seeing Wayne and Zach's like the
alien,
in
the goo, and
like. That was great. So I really loved and seeing that across like all the different seasons, right?
Exactly.
So because that's kind of like a staple.
Yeah, Australia started it. We did it, and I think it's been done elsewhere now too. So very, very cool challenge. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel the same energy you did. We did not enjoy that challenge as much. Our figure fell over. We're like, oh man, we're in the bottom two for sure.
That. Yeah.
It ended up not being that case, and it's hard to understand why sometimes. The judging is mysterious sometimes, but So some good challenges. Were there any other ones that really stood out to you, or is that about it?
So. One of the other things that popped out to me was the snow globe.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a cool one.
Because I really like. I don't do it a lot, but I do like sculpting and having an opportunity to kind of create art in that way and have it be presented in a snow globe way. Was intriguing. Like I think it was the fox. That somebody had done.
Exactly. Very
that
artistic.
Was really good. Yeah.
That's a very deliberate kind of showcase, a framing of a container. So it's a deliberate use of a sculpting or a story. So
yep, that's right.
It's interesting.
And one more.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would do it on our season, but they did not do it. Fairy Tale.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because I totally would have rocked out like the Big Bad Wolf, like the Three Little Pigs.
Exactly.
Like, I had it all planned out in my mind, like how I was going to like invert the story and have the pigs ready to pounce on the wolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so something fun like that. That'd be awesome.
So those are my answers.
Yeah, I would say that our season was less storytelling and more, will it survive this?
I know.
So
exactly.
it's more entertaining for the younger audience, but for the people doing the challenges, I think it's harder. I don't know, at least if you're coming from an artistic background, right?
That's right.
Like you've got, and what you are in architectural design, you're in product design. So you're into the creation, designing of things. So that's right. That's your background. So,
yeah.
Important to know. So we're like engineering,
right?
More into the artistic, aesthetic side of things. Yeah. So I relate to that too, Randall. That's all. Okay. So the brick pit is very awesome to see. It's awesome to explore and build all those pieces. I think in like 2x4s and other basic bricks, it's almost unlimited.
Yeah.
But what was the most useful element that you found going to the brick pit? Was it a basic brick or plate, or was there something special that you were like, this is super useful, especially when you have tens of thousands of them?
Tens of thousands of them. I'm always partial to snot bricks.
Yeah.
So I used a handful of those like almost throughout every
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. One of the other pieces that I'm thinking of, I'm like imagining the brick pit as if I'm there. I'm like, all right, plates over here, the round plates over there, the snot bricks and the slopes over there, and then the Technic over here.
Way in the corner.
Yep. By the way, everybody that was snatching up the Technic all the time, OMG. Y'all were hoarders.
I think they needed a whole brick pit of Technic with the regular bricks, because for our season at least.
Yes,
but
they did.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was guilty of grabbing a few.
Yeah, I know.
I know. We all were. Yeah.
You, Jen, Caleb, Zach, like all y'all.
Just come with a bucket and just scoop. We needed most of it. I will say.
That's true. That's true. But other than the snot.
So mostly the headlight bricks.
Just because of a lot of the sculpting that we did or tried to do, that involved that.
Those techniques are absolutely essential for getting the right shape sometimes.
Yeah.
So. Interesting. All right. And then, so on that note, if you could add a few types of pieces to the brick pit, it could be something that was there but more of, or a different color or variety. What would you add to the brick pit if you had the chance? And I think that we might see even more in season 3. I don't know. They might, because like from season 1 to season 2, that's a big jump. 2 million bricks, but
yeah.
We'll see.
I would add more curved slopes.
Yes,
that's one. 2 brackets, multiple brackets, because even in the snot pieces there were only like 6 colors.
Yeah,
so would have loved to have more of those.
I know small tiles, like orange and lime. There was not a lot of tile selection there.
Did we have a lot of like dots?
We had dots.
In
every color.
But
I'm thinking like 1x2 tiles.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they had that many orange or lime tiles, which is like if you get stuck with that color, if you're working with that color, it could be kind of tricky.
Do you use a lot of that for like your decorating and
a little bit on the surface? Because the less studs, the better generally. Not always. Right. And so that's one thing I know. I know it really got Caleb and Jacob because they had an orange car, and they had basically no orange tiles to work with, except the dots ones, which are too curvy. So that was one thing that I would add. But some the brackets, curved slopes, some good options.
And inverted slopes.
Yes.
Because we didn't have a lot of those. We had some.
A handful. 6 or 7 shapes and a few colors.
Yeah, because just the nature of how we were building was like for TV, and so it had to be of a certain size. So color. So there could be pieces that you might not use because they don't fit that profile. Exactly. So I guess they assumed inverted slopes and curved slopes were one of them because you're using regular bricks to sculpt and shape on all those challenges.
For sure. Agreed, especially on the curved slopes. I didn't even really think about that, but they had pretty good selection, but there's so many more that we're used to having in our own collections or seeing in sets. So there's always more to add. There's many more than 5 million bricks in the Lego catalog for sure. Talk about interacting and enjoying the other teams. I know that pretty much everyone from our season has told me that we really feel like we're just awesome group of Lego fans from all different walks of life, but that appreciation for the brick really brought us all together, and maybe shared trauma a little bit. We were in such a difficult situation. Exactly. And so everyone was like, we're in this together, survival. Yes. But I know it's hard to pick a favorite, but did you particularly enjoy hanging out with any other teams that you want to shout out?
Man, well, I'm trying to think of like where our tables were placed.
Yeah, tables and like in the holding area.
In the holding area,
who you're sitting next to.
We sat next to Maria and Philip a lot. Mm-hmm. Maria was like looking out for us in terms of making sure we were prepared to go back on set.
Yeah, she was the mom of the group, right? Like everybody. It wasn't just
So them. I don't think that because I didn't sit next to Brian and Lauren that much or at all, but I think the other one would be Tim and Zach.
Yeah.
Tim and Zach for sure because they were also we hung out with them a lot more.
So you were with the Michigan people over
there. I was. And I mean being in Chicago,
not far. That's far. One state away.
Midwest contingent. It worked out.
Exactly. I gotta say the Midwest representation was strong and it was awesome. Yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, here's a question. I see the possibility of. Like in our season, they split the teams up towards the end. Yeah, you had to work by yourself.
The land and sea.
What if they took it one step further and you had to switch team members? There was like a roulette. They switched it all up, and if you got to be paired with another person from our season, who would you want to get paired up with? Is there somebody that you would like to take on one challenge with?
I'm only going to say this because this person and I have talked about doing stuff in the future.
There you go.
And that's Dave.
Yes.
We've been, because we live in the same city. Mm-hmm. That's one. And so I think the skill sets, would complement each other. Exactly. I mean, Dave can do anything.
Dave's amazing.
Dave's incredible.
No joke at all. Yes.
No, right? So, like, I think even the things that we talked about doing in the future, kind of more like large scale
sculptures,
kind of like the size of the Chicago sign that I did like that.
Yep.
And working in details and stuff, I think would be dope. So that's awesome. Definitely Dave.
You want to be paired up with Dave. I think that's a very safe bet. Dave is a very skilled builder. It's awesome. Yeah, I think that honestly, being stuck with anyone on the season would be fun. But there's always somebody you're like, I would love to hang out with that person and build.
You know what? If for nothing else, too, like. I'll add two more. Natalie and Michelle. You know, our episode 5 like duo that we were battling against in the bottom 2.
Oh my goodness!
Right? Yeah. Like Michelle. I've gotten to know Michelle after the show. She's incredible
on social media.
And then Natalie is also dope. Definitely, like idea wise, and just for being on camera.
Exactly, it'd be wonderful. Fun to hang out with. Yeah, in fact, it was just a little while ago. I was chatting with Michelle, and she was great. It's like, man, it'd be awesome to hang out with them more, and we will eventually.
Yes, we will.
There's conventions. We'll meet up again. We're pretty close.
That's right.
Alrighty. So let's see. Talked about our contestants. So everyone leaves Lego Masters at some point.
Yes.
After you got home, and all the dust has settled, did you feel like you needed to take a break from building, or did you immediately get filled with like you're back with your own pieces? You want to create? What was your response? I know I had to take a solid couple weeks off of touching a Lego piece.
Well, after I got home, if you recall, I lost the hanging brick challenge because we did that hot air balloon.
Yeah.
So I think the day after I got back. I started building a hot air balloon.
There you go.
The same size. Because I had to just like exercise that from me.
You had to get that out of your system.
Right. Because I think a lot of times doing those challenges, building in ways that you hadn't before, you may have a crisis of conscience. You'd be like, wow, am I trash? Yep. Like, am I as good as I think I am? Just because these are ways, challenges level the playing field.
It's so difficult to even do what you can do at home in that setting. It's the worst possible, most difficult situation. And so you had to get that out. Had to say, I can build a hot air balloon. Yeah, I can do this.
I had to diagnose it. I was like, all right, I built the hot air balloon at 52 studs instead of 48. That probably had to do with how bad like the shaping was, because that's not like the
math wasn't adding up.
Yeah, the math wasn't mathing. Like I was trying to get like the colors in a certain way. And so I got to get most of it done. Mm-hmm. I didn't finish it, but for as much as I did, I was like, all right, like I could build this given,
under better circumstances.
Yeah.
At home, a little relaxed.
Right.
Yeah. So
So I hopped on the Lego like immediately.
So it was like a self proving to yourself that like it was just a difficult situation. You had no problem. And I remember you showing pictures of that during some of the Moto Zoom calls.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Great. So you had to dive right back in. I don't know if I could have done it.
Well, you were on quite longer than I was.
True,
so I understand.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I do know that I kind of feel your pain a little bit because it was only a month afterwards. It was the first creation I built afterwards was the big sea serpent because I'm like I can go a little bigger and I want those eyes to light up because they didn't light up in the show and we wanted that to happen.
And too, that was like the motion thing that we had to include. So I'm sure that you were like,
I did no motion. None at all. Like forget any motors. This is just a cool looking snake. That's it. So, so there's some things you're like, I don't want to do that, and some things you're like, I got to prove to myself. Interesting. All right. Oh, this is a good question. Being on Lego Masters is a whirlwind of many things, but is there anything that you took away from Lego Masters, Lego related, that you use today? Is there any tips or tricks or just like design concepts, anything that stuck with you from Lego Masters?
I think two things. One would be you really have to access, number one, and then lean into the child in you.
Yeah. Playful,
colorful. So if you think it's absurd, you probably should follow that instinct.
Exactly,
because that's gonna inform how you articulate that concept in the build per the challenge. So I think that's something that I might not have done enough of. So that's
hindsight is 20/20.
Hindsight is 20/20, right? Yeah. And then number two, I think was conceptually how you build for an audience, not necessarily for TV, but because up to that point I'd never exhibited at a Lego convention or an exhibition or expo.
So live building versus photos, or
right. So like how you build for people to experience it. So yes, our judges were the ones experiencing it, and then people at home were watching it. So that's something that I hadn't done a lot of, and so now I consider that a lot more.
Yes.
Even with the Chicago sign, like that's double-sided, and everything that's going to be included in that will be for like a 360 experience.
For people to walk around and look at.
Right? So
interesting.
Yeah, and then I think the last thing, be number 3, would be I need to do a lot more like medium-sized builds. Because a lot of my mocks are like big and they take like a year. So I need to do, because I did a rocket, like the green rocket, like the MJ Leave Me Alone rocket. That one only took me like 2-3 months. Right? So like
not bad at all.
And it's fire. I gotta pop my collar because
exactly. Pat yourself in the back.
Yeah. Like the shaping and all that, being able to practice that and work on that again after the show and say, all right, like how do I use my math skills and make this look good? And it looks great. So just being able to get more learnings quicker through smaller scale mocks.
Gotcha. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Multiple things taken from the show, planning for different perspectives, how people are going to see it, playfulness, color. I like it. So I know Steven and I, getting on the show, we used basically only earth tones. Going in.
Really?
Yes. We were not like pink. Are you kidding me? That's stupid.
So what did you think of when Amy was like, don't use, not be so realistic?
We were like, what are we going to do? Because it's like she clearly she hates tan and gray.
Right?
And those are our favorite colors.
Jam.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's very realistic. And so we had to go a lot more colorful, a lot more playful, and we had to absolutely change everything we knew about color theory. And so that now I'm actually picking out the pink and the blues and the lights and all the really pastels. Yeah. So we have, it's completely changed our perspective on color.
That's pretty good.
Having to work for Amy for several weeks. She's a tough judge on the colors.
Yes, for sure.
And the energy. So,
for sure.
Alrighty. So the casting process for Lego Masters is long and involved and very tricky, and you never know what's going on. It's very... It's dicey. It's interesting. When you did finally, or even before you knew you were going to be on the show, did you do anything to prepare yourself? Did you do any extra technique research? Did you break down some pieces? Did you have a little build session? What were is there anything that came to mind that helped you? Anything that really worked or anything that didn't work?
Yeah.
Everyone tried different things on the season, and it's interesting to hear the perspective.
I think my building techniques, I don't know that I was going to learn anything new that I hadn't known or had experienced over the 30 years of building.
Yeah, you felt good about techniques, right?
So I think if anything, it was more the idea thing. So I actually watched movies to prepare for like idea generation.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Funny story. I knew one of my weak points was fantasy.
Oh.
So I did watch Avatar before I left.
That's a good one, actually.
I had never seen it, but I watched that just to get my science fiction mind going.
Yeah.
I had Princess Bride on the list.
That would be a good one.
And I did not watch it.
Have you not seen it?
Never.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. You got a scoop.
I won't say anything, but man, it is good. It is good.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Princess Bride like Lego mocks at Brick Worlds before.
They had a whole displays.
Yeah. I mean, I know like, Inigo Montoya, like that word doesn't mean what you think it means. Like, I know a little bit, but anyway, I did not watch Princess Bride, and then we got the Centaur for the hero shot. So you can see how these things are connected.
That would have helped a little. Yeah. Gotcha.
So that was kind of my approach, and then watching like Lego Masters episodes from
season 1 and
season 2 from Australia.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Extremely. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I didn't think about just watching kind of really groundbreaking creative fantasy genre. Some things you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I'm glad you got to catch Avatar. That's a good one. The sequel's coming out soon.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't seen The Princess Bride yet, Randall, it's really fun. And it's got great humor.
Please don't eat me up in the comments.
No. You'd be surprised. A couple of our employees, like Joe, has not seen anything, and we're continually adding new movies to his list. So you will add you to the list of people who need to watch more movies. It's okay. So,
cool.
But yeah, so very interesting preparation. I think that's pretty solid choices there. So awesome. I know Steven and I, we also felt not bad about our techniques, but the one thing we want to do is make sure our little Lowell spheres were good.
Yeah.
So we were doing some small sphere practice before, and that's about all we had time for leading up to it. Steven's was a welder. I was doing stuff here, but we did a little bit of technique practice.
So like at different scales, the Lowell sphere?
Because you got the standard one, which is about a tennis ball. Tennis ball. And then there's a little bit larger one and a little bit larger one from there. And so we practiced a few of those just so that we could do them from memory versus looking them up. Because they don't, not necessarily letting you look up stuff on set.
That's right.
But yeah, good prep though. So this is when part of the interview we typically would talk about season 3 and how it's coming up in a few days. But apparently, Fox has decided to reschedule it for the fall, quite many months in advance. So it would have come out just a couple of days from the release of this video. Instead, we now have to look further away. So instead of asking you about season 3, we're going to talk about what happened to season 3. So the first question for you, Randall, is what are some of the reasons you think they might have postponed it several months to the fall?
Man, well, I think the context that I know of is that when we premiered, that was during the 2021 Olympics.
Yes.
Right? And then it was also during the MLB All-Star Game.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
So I think there was some momentum that was lost for the viewing public because you couldn't watch week after week.
It was 2 or 3 weeks break between episodes sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm sure that part of it has to do with that.
Ratings.
Because the All-Star Game happens every year.
Yeah.
On the same network. So that's one. And then 2, give people something to watch during the fall when you're probably not out in the public. And
the weather's not so nice.
Yeah, you're going to be inside. So that's perfect binge, sit down with the family. Yeah,
you're at home. You're not going to go out in the evening. You're going to see what's on TV.
Yeah. And I hope with that, they get even better ratings than we did. Yeah. We hit some milestones, so I'm hopeful that season 3 knocks it even more out of the park.
Exactly. I mean, season 1 was pandemic era, top of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they had some fantastic ratings. Season 2, despite those interruptions, still did pretty good. And we've heard it's done better than we even thought it did.
That's right.
Since. So hopefully this change only improves season 3's ratings. Maybe even they might even pass us. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think that nothing will pass our challenges and our camaraderie. But we'll hope they do well. We wish them well. For
yes,
sure.
Absolutely.
But I think some very probably the best options for what is actually causing this delay.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're just like, there's a lot going on in the summer. It's just not worth throwing a really good show and letting it get not the best opportunity.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about our season and season 3 and comparing them a little bit. If there was a change to our season, would you actually prefer our season was like delayed for several months and released in the fall or a different time? Because I know season 1 came out. I'll have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure it came out sometime in like late December, January era.
Came out in February.
February.
I looked.
Okay,
yes.
You looked it up. Thank you. But one of us did some research. But no, so if our season was released instead of releasing early summer, if it was some other part of the year, what would you prefer?
I think the number one thing I'm thinking about is convention season.
Yes.
Right. So I want to say in the fall is when stuff really kicks up. It's fall, winter, because like Bricks Cascade is January.
Yeah.
I know Brick World Chicago is always in the summer, but you know when you start getting to like that July, August, September,
there's November, a lot going on.
You got going on. So I think yes, if you do it in the summer, then you kind of ramp up to the fall. But if you do it in the fall, then after Bricks Cascade, what is there in like the early of the months of the year?
Typically a few shows in the southeast. I know Brick Fair, Alabama is usually in the January-February range. They're doing Atlanta Brick Con. Brick Universe is all over. Brickfest Live. So there's like fall and early spring are typically great times for conventions.
Yeah. So I think given what we just talked about, like, if it's probably better to do it in the fall for ratings season.
Yeah, ratings. And you could even, like, after this certain episode, you're at a convention.
That's right.
Talking to people, and that's pretty fun.
That's right. Yeah. So I think if you do it in the fall, then you could just, like, ride that out for almost a calendar year.
Exactly. Be all the way into summer. And
yeah.
Wow. Makes sense. And then this here's something that not everyone is necessarily thinking about when they talk about postponing the season, 4 or 6 months. They actually had quite a revealing teaser video, and they showed pretty much a nice wide angle of all the contestants.
Blinking if you miss it type of deal.
Yeah, but still shots exist.
Oh, yeah.
And they've zoomed in on them. Yeah. And so there's a lot of speculation who all the contestants are, and I think that our season was a little bit more secretive. They didn't really show us all off first teaser video. Yeah. They haven't announced the cast yet.
I know. I've been waiting on that.
And they're not. I know that in our season we weren't really allowed to talk about it until we were announced due to concerns over leaking information.
That's right.
So how do you think season 3's cast is dealing with this? We don't officially know any of them, but we're just like we really empathize with them right now
because I know what that's like. You gotta shut the social media down almost, or make it look as if you somewhere else or doing something else. Yeah. So to have to hide that, and then like you said, the screenshot is out there. You can pick out anybody and everybody that's on season 3. Having to kind of keep that on the low, especially while you're going to kind of some of these summer conventions.
Yeah, if you're going to a convention, you got to be wearing like a full hood and everything.
Yeah. So I empathize. Like I hope that it's not as brutal having to wait these few extra months.
Yeah, we had to wait a little while, a few months. Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. It was like a month and a half.
Yeah,
almost 2.
And so that kind of delay is just like really difficult. But looking forward, I know we can talk a little bit about the video that did happen. We saw a few teasers of some of the challenges that are upcoming, many months away. Was there anything that really stood out to you? Something that was interesting?
Man, and I've only seen the teaser like once or twice.
Okay. Well, one thing that I was looking at was a very brief view of looked like a life-size raptor costume that someone was in. Okay. So dinosaurs. What do you think about a dinosaurs-related challenge?
That is so interesting. I wonder, because otherwise I can't think of that being. I don't
easy
think
to build.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty difficult.
It also reminds me of it reminds me of Kale in Lego Masters.
Yep. Exactly.
OMG. Oh man. The dinosaur, that would be interesting. I wonder like if it has something to do with like time.
It might.
Because like it's so long ago.
Like you build the first instance of something and then, millions of years later it doesn't. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on. The one thing that I saw is there's more explosions. So we'll see more exploding stuff because there's got to be explosions.
I do remember seeing glasses.
Yeah. Safety glasses going on. So
I'm hopeful. I don't know that they'll do it, but I would love to see more of the car challenges that y'all had that were advantage.
Yes.
Advantage builds instead of elimination. Like that. Not to say that, people would walk off and not build, because I talked to Dave once about it, and we were like, yeah, we would like to still be there and still build.
Yeah.
Right? Just because it's fun.
Even if you got to use the golden brick, still build something like Mark and Boone season 1 and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So I would like to see more of that, but we'll see, given, all the explosions that are probably planned.
Yeah, so you're thinking like the opportunity to have something where you're building not necessarily just to save yourself from elimination, but also to gain an advantage and have a break, as it were. So change it up a little bit, not just one person going home, one person wins. Switch up the formula a little bit.
Yeah, but I also understand too, like, it's still 12 teams.
Yeah.
Right? So you probably don't have time for all of that.
Somebody's going home almost every pretty week. Much, all the time, yeah. Well, there's a lot to look forward to, a lot of mystery, and it's going to be even further away than we expected. But hopefully it ends up... I'm almost confident it'll be very entertaining. At least... having been through that experience, I think we'll have a really fun time just watching these poor people suffer through all these crazy challenges.
I'm excited to meet them, because I think one of the things, just speaking for me, that Lego Masters allowed me to do was meet more people in the community, because my history with Lego is very like insular and singular. Like it's just me. Like I never really was on Flickr. Remember when that was a thing? Mock pages. Like I was on those sites, but never really had like people that I talked to pretty constantly about it. So
you didn't get too deep.
Yeah,
you were just observing.
Yeah, and making my own stuff. So like I'm excited to meet more people. Like I met you and Steven and the rest of the cast.
Yep.
So and for those people that may be in similar boat as me, right? That don't know anybody on the cast, right? Like I didn't know that you and Steven were doing these incredible castles and landscapes before the show, right? Like a lot of people may know these prominent Lego builders, but not I. So I'm just looking forward to more of that cross-pollination.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if any of the people in Season 3 hadn't really experienced the community yet, this will open the floodgates for all the stuff they're about to be exposed to. It's going to be awesome.
That's right.
It's a really nice community, so definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
But before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the builds that we've seen on your Instagram. I really have to ask about that awesome Chicago sign.
Yes.
You want to tell me a little bit about that? What prompted that and how it's going?
So I always wanted a set piece in my apartment. Number one, I've always loved Chicago, so I finally moved there about 5 years ago. It's been great ever since.
Awesome.
And then just seeing the Chicago Theater sign on State Street like often, because I work close to where that is.
Nice.
So I see that all the time. And so I, as many people do in the Lego community, see things as Lego. You start kind of like decoding, like the Matrix. You kind of see
the bricks start to appear.
Like, okay, this is this piece. That piece is like this little Technic piece that's rare, but if I get enough of these, I can make this work. So I was doing that a lot. And then I just finally and it was something else for me to distract myself during the Lego Masters season premiere as we were going,
through all that.
Through all that. So started with the letters first for the scale. And then from there, I think it was how to build this, figuring out how to build it in a modular fashion, because my intent was to move it. Yeah. So just breaking things out and making sure like I had a system to where I could easily take it apart and put it back together, and if somebody else had to do it, they could do the same.
Wow.
So I started that actually almost a year ago to the day.
Wow.
I started it around Memorial Day weekend 2021. And then I finished it in February.
Yes.
Right? So I think the rest, what's going on with the rest of it, I did finish the sign. So from the red and yellow, that's done. So below that is the base, in which it stands vertically. That's going to look like the Chicago Theater building itself, but just a little bit more stylized, and not exactly exact, but inspired by. Because I have a marquee that's going to be going all the way around. And the marquee is only front facing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Looking forward to displaying that at a exhibition near you.
Exactly. So keep an eye out on Randall's Instagram. The link will be in the description.
Yes.
And hopefully you can catch up with him at a convention soon.
That'll be awesome.
That's where it's at, guys. I mean, you got to go to the convention, got to meet these people, get a signature.
I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at these exhibitions all the time.
It's gonna be
and
great.
hanging out with my friends.
Exactly. We're going to have so many hangouts the next few years. It's going to be fantastic. But I think that's all I've got for today, Randall. But thank you so much for showing up live in the studio. This is awesome. It's been a great interview, and definitely looking forward to season 3 eventually, and looking forward to the final completion of your sign. All its glory displayed.
I'm about to rock it.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it in person, be able to walk around it and see it, and see all the care that's been put into it. So,
Yeah, it's been great. Wonderful.
Thanks, Randall.
Yeah, bruh.
We'll see you guys. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons on your way out. It really helps the channel. We've got so many more videos coming out. Not Lego Masters theme.
Nah.
Back to regularly scheduled programming. We got Galador. We got Rare Parts. We got so many cool videos coming out. Thanks a bunch. We'll see ya.